What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Motorhead YouTube channel. So I would like to say sorry guys for not posting. I did take a little break and we were slammed at work. I was mostly focusing on work and just kind of enjoying myself and taking a break away from YouTube. But today's video, as you can see from the title, is a really exciting one, and we were working on the E30 and we got it primed and we got it ready for paint. So hope you guys enjoy. All right, guys, so what I need to panel bond is right here in this area. As you guys remember, when I built this body line, there's just fiberglass in there, and I don't really want to fill this up with fiberglass because I feel like eventually it will crack. So what I want to do is get some panel bond, and I'm going to sand all this out perfectly uniform and get some panel bond and throw it inside there and then wipe it down, make it super nice. That way the body line is there, but underneath it's all sealed by panel bond. And then other than that, we kind of just need to start sanding everything. This quarter panel is perfect. I mean, I got this thing looking really good and it looks beautiful. The only thing is I'm going to have to sand it down and prime it. Johnny's actually going to be blocking that out right there. And I'm going to work on this quarter panel right here. As I told y'all, it does have some bad bodywork, so I did have to redo it. There's a little hump there and this was a little in. It still kind of is right here. So I need to build up this area so it's perfectly flush. Yep, so right here, you can see this right here is flush. Well, hold on, hold it right there. So as you can see, it does need a little sanding and shaping. And then right here, this is too low in the bottom and too high on the top. So we need to sand that down a little, build it up here, and also build it through here. Also, these doors need to be redone. That's not a big deal. We're just gonna get all that off and do that. But for the most part, I do wanna focus on these quarter panels right now and get them perfect. And then also the fenders. I did mess up one of these fenders. As you can see right there, a little bit of fiberglass damage. We're gonna have to fix that also. But yeah, other than that, everything looks great. And we do need to actually go to the store and buy a couple of materials. So we're gonna head out. We'll probably hit Northern Tool. What do you think?
Yeah, buddy, that'd be the place.
Yeah, because we need the gun that holds the panel bond. Let's see what else we're gonna need.
We got everything else. You went a little shopping the other day.
Yeah, well, actually, I took one of my blocks to work, like the one that's this size. And
sure, I seen one in here somewhere. A long one. A long block.
Oh, that's this one.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're gonna be using right here to block this. That's what I bought it for.
You need that middle size one.
Yeah, I actually bought this block for this car. So anyways, we're gonna go to the store. We'll get what we need. Northern Tool should have blocks also. So we'll get everything we need and we'll go from there. All right, so we went to O'Reilly's and we got some extra glaze, primer, and this is the panel bond, 3M panel bond adhesive. This is actually what we used to mold these fiberglass fenders onto here, and it's very good stuff. And we have to go to the shop and borrow the gun, but we got pretty much everything we need. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and start sanding. Johnny's gonna be blocking this out. He'll throw some fresh 180 on here and he'll block this out completely with 180. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna start working on this and smoothing this out right here. And pretty much I just need to sand that out. And as soon as I feather this out, I'll sand this whole thing down and I'll probably throw one coat over everything evenly. And hopefully by then Johnny will be done with that block and I can go ahead and block all this out smooth. So let's get started. All right, so Johnny has got this pretty much ready for primer. We're really just trying to get stuff like this out. As you can see, that little rock chip and 80 grit scratches. So this panel is super straight. Like I said before, he's just 180 sanding it all and getting it super nice. And as you can see, I mean, it's pretty much ready for primer. He has everything sanded real nicely and uniformly. And he's gonna have to start sanding all this. And we're gonna throw the primer up this way. I think we're just gonna prime to here because I did already prime this once before. So we're really not worried about that. Over here, I did throw another coat. This quarter honestly wasn't even as bad. Oh, that's wet. Dang it. So this quarter honestly isn't even as bad as I thought it was. Once I did that little patch and sanded it smooth, it was pretty much good. So I think this one coat and some glaze, and this will be ready too. What had happened was it was inwards right there a little bit, but I think once we sand this out and throw glaze on it, it's gonna be perfect. And also right here, we need a little bit of Bondo, like I said earlier. So this quarter's pretty much ready too. We're gonna get both of these done, and we'll probably move on to this fenders right here. We do need a fiberglass repair, one of them. And so we'll do all that last. First, let's get these quarters done, and then we'll move forward. All right, guys, so as you can see, this was really beat up and damaged, and I finally got it fixed, and it's super strong now. So I'm really happy with those results. I'm gonna throw a little coat of glaze over that, and it'll be ready for primer. I am also working on this. I've been sanding it, and there was a little low spot here, so hopefully I'll sand that smooth, and that'll be it. And then we can throw glaze over all this. And once I get that glaze sanded nice and smooth, we'll go ahead and prime all of this together. And then also, I do still need to build this, so I'm about to throw some Bondo there also. Okay, guys, so I went ahead and flattened this out really nicely, and it's looking great. The low spot is gone, and it's all super nice and uniform and even to this. So this is just gonna need a coat of glaze. I'm not going to touch it yet. I wanna go ahead and throw a little bit of Bondo here, fix that low spot. As you can see right there, it's not really bad at all. It's gonna need a tiny bit. And once I get this gap right, I'll glaze everything together. These doors, I am gonna have to use the grinder and wire wheel and take it completely off because I know it's rusted under there and I'd rather it be done right. So I'm gonna do that last. So let's go ahead and get this quarter done. Once the rear end is ready for primer, we'll start on the doors. Okay, so I got this all where I want it. Check this out, guys. Looks very nice. I do still need to sand it off just a tad bit, but it is high and not low, so that's perfect. I won't have to add on to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and glaze this and glaze all of this, and then we'll sand it on. This whole rear will be ready for primer. Okay, so I got a nice sheet of glaze on all this. We're gonna sand this down and it's gonna be ready for primer. Body line is looking great. Everything looks good. We're just gonna have to sand that down, sand all this and make it look good. So now we're gonna go on to the other side and get started on the other door. So there were a couple dents. I went ahead and threw some glaze on them. As you can see, Johnny got this cleaned out really nicely. And what we're gonna do is clean it up and throw some kitty hair up in here because you do have to delete this line. As you can see, it is flush and there's no moldings on the M3. So we're gonna go ahead and fill it with kitty hair. And once that dries, we can sand that down, throw down some Bondo, or maybe even honestly just glaze, no Bondo. We're gonna see how well it turns out. And after that, we can go ahead and sand that. This door will be ready for primer, and then we'll strip down that one, do the same thing to that one, and all this will be ready to prime. All right, guys, so I got this side laid down. It looks very nice. Unfortunately, this side is just loaded with Bondo. I think Vlad or Yuri did this door, I don't remember, but I don't want that much on there, so Johnny's been doing an excellent job of taking it all off, and it's been very tiresome work, so big shout out to him. He's really helping me out. We need to get all this off, and then I'm gonna do it small and thin like I did on that side, so there's not too much filler on here, and we'll go from there. All right, so all this is ready for primer. We're gonna prime it tomorrow morning. So I'm gonna go ahead and panel bond this. As you can see inside there, we need to panel bond all of that, and then I'll sand it smooth. Panel bond will hold it real nicely, and we won't have to worry about it. So let's get started. All right, guys, check that out. That turned out absolutely amazing. As you can see, it's all panel bonded up, and when I sand it all down, the seam will still be there. So tomorrow morning, when this is all dry, we'll go ahead and sand all of this stuff. And when you prime it, it's gonna look absolutely beautiful. I'm really happy with it because I know the panel bond is extremely strong. We panel bonded all this stuff, and we wanted to get this gap right before we panel bonded that, and now it looks beautiful. Same with this side. Boom. Sand it out and get it primed. All right, guys, next day here. Unfortunately, panel bond didn't dry. I guess because it's so cold outside, it's still a little wet, so we're just focusing on everything else right now. Johnny's taking the fenders off, getting those ready. All the door jambs are ready, and I think what I'm going to do is sand this down a little bit and put a piece of tape over it. That way it does not get messed up, or it doesn't get primed, because if I prime it, it won't dry. So might just tape it up and later sand it out a little bit and throw more primer right there. But I do want to get everything coated and sealed. That way nothing rusts and everything is one uniform color. Then we can guide coat it, block it out, see how it looks. So we're almost done, actually. This quarter just needs a little skim coat of glaze here, like barely any, because it does have some pitting right there. And then I seen somewhere else right here, and then right here. So I'm just gonna touch up those little spots, and this quarter will be completely done. That quarter is already done, and then this whole body will be ready for primer, and we can focus on the fenders. And then once we get that done, we'll look at the doors. All right, guys, so the body is looking extremely straight. It's all ready for primer. I'm focusing on the doors right now. As you guys remember, there was a ton of body filler on here. So we stripped one of them down because it was rusting, and we're redoing both of them. That one's pretty much done. It has 2 low spots, so I'm going to put a sheet of glaze on that. One more coat of Bondo on this. And then we're going to sand it down, throw more glaze on here, and it should be ready for primer. right, guys, so we are going to prime the car for now. The fenders are kind of taking a while to dry, and we're going to focus on getting the engine bay taped up and prime all this up. That way it's sealed. And then once that is fully done, we're going to go ahead and sand these down and prime these separate. And hopefully by then this will be dry enough to put the doors onto the car and kind of get an idea. I've seen a lot of issues with those front fiberglass fenders. Johnny actually found a bunch of parts where it was like splitting and everything, and we just already are putting so much work into those fenders, and I feel like if I hit a bump or something and the wheel hits it, they're gonna crack and I'm gonna have a lot of issues. So I got 2 metal fenders from ESS Tuning, and I'm gonna slap those on there and not have to worry about anything. So we're gonna get this all primed, and then we'll start focusing on trimming everything out in the next episode and getting it ready for paint. So stay tuned, guys. For now, we're gonna go ahead and tape that up and start priming.
What do you guys say about that, man?
I think this car is gonna be sick, as long as it don't end up like my E30. That's all I can say.
You mean my old E30?
It wasn't your old one, Johnny. It was your new one that became
My
your
new
old
one.
one.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, he's taping it.
Oh yeah, he's taping.
You can slick shots, bro.
All right, so we actually decided we're gonna go ahead and do the trunk and the doors. Johnny's over here prepping this door, blocking it out real nicely. And these will be ready for primer. All we have to do is block them with the 80 and 180. And I wanna go ahead and block this trunk and get all these gaps dialed in and prime this too. That way we can get it all on. But I mean, it's fitting really good. This side needs to go forward just a little bit and it'll be perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and get all this ready too. Okay guys, just like that, the E30 is finally in one color and has one fresh coat of primer over everything. I'm super excited. And now those metal fenders will just come in, we'll bolt them suckers on. We won't even have to prime them and they'll be good. We won't have to worry about no fiberglassing. I'm so happy with how this turned out. Big shout out to Johnny, he helped me out a lot. And man, I'm just so excited guys, because now we can just go ahead and do the Port 15 on the interior. And I do really want to get the parts car in here and strip it apart and put all the parts onto this car and get it running and driving before I paint it. I think that would be really nice to do. We are though gonna trim everything out, so I do want to Port 15 the interior and then paint the doors on the insides and paint the door jambs. We got the jambs all primed. Everything looks super good. And then also we will paint all up inside here before we put those new fenders on, get those metal fenders trimmed out. And then it's just a matter of getting this thing into the paint shop and painted. And man, I'm just gonna be so excited to do that because it's been a long time coming and this project has been a huge task. And it's kind of hard to do this thing full time, you know, it has been on the back burner, but I'm really happy. This is a huge milestone. Getting the bodywork done and getting it in primer, I mean, that was just one thing I really dreaded and what really slowed down this build. So stay tuned for the next episode, guys. I'm really excited to get into that interior and get it sealed up like we did on the Mustang. It's gonna look awesome. And if you want updates before the video drops, go ahead and give us a follow on Instagram at motorhead.co, link down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate all the love and support. Peace.